Compacts like Hyundai's i20 are popular with both younger and more mature drivers who are looking for low price and low fuel consumption. The Korean manufacturer has now expanded its i20 range to include a new thrifty 3-cylinder engine. Our car tester, Andre Zimmermann, is going to take one of these new Hyundais out into urban traffic for a spin. When it comes to design and equipment, is this i20 aimed at young drivers or is it geared to the older generation? Andre says Hyundai has revolutionized what's here under the hood. The 1.4-litre naturally aspirated engine has been replaced by a 3-cylinder turbocharged 1-litre engine. That's the latest trend. Andre says compacts are popular with both younger and older drivers, but which group is likely to prefer this i20 version? Everyone will like the money-saving aspect of low fuel consumption, but no one wants a sluggish car when it comes to performance. So that's the first thing Andre checks out. The blue 1.0-litre T-GDI engine produces 74 kilowatts, which yields a top speed of 188 kilometers an hour. According to manufacturer specifications, this i20 consumes an average of 4.5 litres of gasoline per 100 kilometers. That assumes you've got a thrifty driving style, of course. So is this new version also fun to drive? Andre says relaxed cruising is no problem with the new 1-litre engine. But if you want to accelerate and avoid over-revving the engine, you do notice a momentary delay in reaction time when you step on the gas and shift. That's because the engine falls below 2,000 RPM. This lag time is sometimes called the turbo hole. A second or two later, the turbocharger kicks in, pumps air and produces acceleration. The i20's exterior has a modern design. The hexagonal radiator grille dominates the front. The daytime running lights with their frosted glass make for a more aggressive look. The design highlight is the high-gloss black C-pillar. That makes it look like the roof is floating at the top of the vehicle. The design of the rear is sporty too. Andre says the attractive integrated sat-nav is new in the i20. The first i20s had only a holder for a cell phone, which had to serve for navigation. But this display has a GPS navigation system and a rear-view camera, and plenty of connectivity. You can listen to music via Bluetooth or through the USB port or the auxiliary port. There are also two 12-volt sockets you can use for all sorts of things, like charging your passengers' mobile phones or powering a cooler. But you might not even need a cooler, since the i20 features a cooled glove compartment. The displays on the dashboard are attractive, and the central one provides additional information. Buttons on the steering wheel makes it safe and easy to change the settings. Andre says that these features will all appeal to younger customers, but they aren't likely to find favour with the rather gloomy interior, especially the grey seat covers, which seem like they were inspired by Grandma's old curtains. Although the seats may not be a visual standout, they are comfortable. Even the back seats offer plenty of head and leg room. At more than 1,000 litres, the trunk is roomy. Even with the seats up, there's 326 litres of space, which is good for the B segment. Andre says the rectangular trunk is very practical, and that's a plus. The only thing that bothers him a bit is the height of the trunk sill. He'd have preferred it a bit lower. In Germany, the base model for this i20 retails at just over €12,000. So what's the overall verdict? Andrzej lists the plus points: a sporty exterior design, a powerful, fuel-saving 3-cylinder engine, attractive sat-nav and plenty of connectivity. These are all things that appeal to young drivers. But the interior is a bit on the stodgy side. Andrzej says Hyundai should offer some attractive colour variations to appeal to younger drivers. So that's where there's still some room for improvement. The Audi A4 is a familiar sight on German streets, but this is no ordinary A4. It has all-wheel drive and bears Audi's trademark Quattro, meaning all 4 wheels are powered. So it's a cut above the ordinary, but by no means a secret. The Quattro is a tried and tested car. Audi presented the first Quattro 36 years ago, and it's been a success story ever since. Audi's Florian Kolb tells us more. The Quattro began in 1980 with the open centre differential. In 1987 came the first self-locking centre differential, which has been continually optimised over the years. All-wheel drive systems have seen many improvements since then. The latest generation features what Audi calls ultra technology. Florian Kolb explains, when the decoupler is closed in the rear axle transmission, the electronically controlled multi-plate clutch provides variable torque distribution and distributes power to the front and wheel axles just as the situation demands. To switch to fuel-efficient front-wheel drive, you have to open the multi-plate clutch. Then you open the decoupler in the rear axle transmission. That compresses the spring. Now the all-wheel system is disengaged. Once the decoupler is open, the entire drivetrain to the rear stops. This minimises drag loss and generates fuel-efficient front-wheel drive. The interplay between the newly developed all-wheel components and a sophisticated operating strategy makes the Quattro even more efficient. The intelligent steering works employs predictive analytics, using sensors that evaluate data on driving dynamics, road conditions and driver behaviour. As a result, the all-wheel drive is always ready when it's needed. In the majority of circumstances, the Quattro operates in front-wheel drive mode, which helps save fuel. Florian Kolb says this system engages the all-wheel drive within 0.2 of a second or 200 milliseconds when it's needed. And the driver doesn't even notice it. To demonstrate, he cruises in front-wheel drive at 120 kilometers an hour. Now when he presses the gas pedal, the all-wheel drive engages even before the torque is on the wheels. If he then continues to cruise along, the system returns to front-wheel drive. The rear axle transmission slows and stops, and the efficient front-wheel drive is in charge again. The all-wheel drive uses a 3-step strategy. In the proactive stage, the sensors relay data to the car's networked systems. That's what the steering apparatus uses, for example, when the car goes into a fast curve. It then calculates the point where the front inside wheel approaches the limit of grip. In predictive mode, the Quattro's control system determines which drive system to engage depending on driving behaviour, the selected driving mode, and whether the car is pulling a trailer. In the reactive stage, the system responds to sudden changes in friction between the tyres and the road, for example, when the car moves from dry to wet pavement. Florian says Audi's philosophy is to always coordinate the all-wheel system in the same way. In Sweden, the company tests both the self-locking centre differential and the system with actively controlled torque distribution on low-friction surfaces as well as on high-friction test circuits. This is always done with all the safety systems deactivated to get an optimal assessment of the all-wheel and torque distribution systems. So the calibrated interaction among the various systems offered by Audi is always the same. The test phase in Sweden is already completed. Quattro's new all-wheel drive with ultra technology will soon go into series production. The C-Class family of Mercedes' high-performance division AMG keeps growing. Now a convertible has joined the lineup alongside the sedan, wagon and coupe. The AMG C63 is powered by a twin-turbo V8 gasoline engine that's closely related to the powerhouse in the Mercedes AMG GT. Two output ratings are available, 350 kilowatts or 375 kilowatts. To improve traction and driving dynamics, the C63 convertible has a mechanical rear axle differential lock. The C63S has an electronic one. Both reduce slip on the inside wheel going around curves without any control intervention from the brakes. The independent, completely redesigned rear axle is specially tuned for enhanced driving dynamics. The market launch is set for August 2016 in Germany. Mercedes has yet to name a sticker price. A Porsche 718 RS. With their throaty roar and unique mechanics, Porsches have always occupied a special place in the hearts of sports car fans. Porsche's Kuno Werner says it's a very puristic car. The technology is rather simple and it's combined with a race car engine, but it's still reasonably easy to drive. And now another treat is in store for fans of the brand, a new Porsche show. The special Future of Performance exhibit is on at Berlin's Volkswagen Group Forum until June. Porsche's Achim Steiskal says the Future of Performance epitomizes the brand. The first piece is the 550 Spider, which set the DNA for all future models. Launched in the early 1950s, the Porsche 550 was a mainstay on racetracks the world over, winning many a title. With 1.5 litres capacity, the four-cylinder boxer engine achieved about 80 kilowatts and a top speed of 220 kph. In 1954, Porsche made the car street legal. Just over 100 were sold. The 550 soon became an icon in the Porsche pantheon. The 918 Spider is today's icon, a plug-in hybrid with two electric motors and a V8 engine that delivers 447 kilowatts. It breaks the 7-minute barrier on the Nürburgring track's famous North Loop. Then there's the new 718 Boxster in its first appearance in Germany. Like its namesake, the legendary 1950s-era 718, the new model is powered by a four-cylinder Boxer engine. The last time it was used was in the 1970s-era 914. Both the celebrated original and today's version are mid-engines. Achim Steiskal says the show closes with the 919 Hybrid, which dominated the 2015 racing season, so the Berlin exhibition encompasses the totality of the future sports car concept. Alongside the cars on display, the Berlin show also offers a peek under the hood. This is currently Porsche's most powerful Boxer engine, a 580 horsepower turbocharged S, which also powers the new 911. Another highlight is an interactive terminal where visitors can find additional information. And in some of the models, the public is even allowed to sit in the cockpit. The Future of Performance show runs until June and offers a broad overview of the Porsche mystique. But for a more detailed look, you'll want to head for the Porsche Museum in Stuttgart. We've test-driven the Volvo V60 before, but not in this variation, or with this engine. Car tester Mattis Kurat has driven the V60 with all kinds of engines, even the plug-in hybrid. This one is the most powerful gasoline engine, the T6, with 225 kilowatts of power. That comes from its turbocharged 2-litre inline-six. Mattis says the engine has racing qualities. It responds very sensitively to every touch of the gas pedal. Of course, it takes a moment for the 8-speed automatic transmission to transfer momentum to the engine, but then the car takes off. He's impressed. The manufacturer's fuel consumption is rated at 7 litres per 100 kilometres, but with a sporty driving style, you shouldn't be surprised if you end up closer to 11 litres over 100 kilometres. This gasoline engine comes with all-wheel drive and automatic transmission only. Mattis describes the V60's handling as exemplary. It's very responsive. He never gets the feeling the car won't do what he expects of it. The steering can be set to one of 3 degrees of stiffness via the infotainment unit. So there's a setup that will appeal to most drivers. The seat is comfortable enough for long hauls and just the right length for him. That's not something he takes for granted.
Und der Sitz hat auch die richtige Länge für mich jetzt. Das ist ja auch nicht unbedingt selbstverständlich.
So far, aside from the fuel consumption, the V60 T6 is cutting a good figure. The V60's design was reworked in 2014 to keep it in pace with the times. The rising belt line and falling A-line give it a sleek profile and a slender tail. But the smart contours have come at the expense of the cargo volume. Just 430 litres with the seats folded up. Not outstanding for this segment. The rear seat can't be folded down from the back. That has to be done from the side door. The interior is straightforward and practical, though some might find many knobs and buttons a distraction. Child booster seats are optional in back, but there's no option for lateral support. Passengers have plenty of room on all sides. Pockets and cup holders are built into the central armrest. Just like the design, the assistance systems are also up to date. Mattis notices that the V60's city safety system, originally equipped with pedestrian and car detection, can now also spot cyclists too, for example if they make an unexpected turn, so everybody's protected. All in all, the V60 T6 passes muster. There are some minus points when it comes to fuel consumption and cargo volume, and there's one more issue. Mattis explains that the V60 starts at a base price of some 30,000 euros in Germany with the smallest engine. The T6 bumps the price up to a good 50,000 euros. Add some optional equipment and the price tag comes to a hefty 67,000 euros in Germany. That's a chunk of change for a car with a relatively tight interior. But drivers who like to stand out in a crowd might find this car a worthwhile investment.
Wer aus der Masse herausstechen will und eben kein Auto fahren möchte, das jeder fährt, der muss eben auch ab und zu mal ein bisschen was investieren.
A grille that resembles a castle. Flowing lines and a sense of elegance that marks it out from the competition. This is the Bentley Continental S2 Flying Spur from 1959. The model is like a bridge between two eras. It's a prime example of the brand's sporty heritage with the same sense of luxury as a Rolls-Royce. It's the sort of car you'd expect to find the rich and famous driving around. In its heyday, everyone from princes to playboys loved the S2. The Continental range has always been one of the British car makers' sportier models. This was a Bentley for the members of the upper class who preferred to sit at the wheel themselves instead of being driven everywhere. The Bentley grille hides a Rolls-Royce engine. The company designed it to appeal to people who wanted a car with understated class. Bentley expert Bernd Wendel says they tried to make the Rolls-Royce brand more noble and the Bentley more driver-friendly, so it had more power and was more sporty. Those were the main differences. Walter Owen Bentley started it all off in 1919, and the company delivered its first vehicles 2 years later. They quickly built a good reputation and moved into motorsports. Bentley had great success at the prestigious Le Mans 24-hour race, winning it 5 times between 1924 and 1930. But they ran into financial trouble during the Great Depression. Walter Owen Bentley had to step aside and his company was bought up by Rolls-Royce. The Bentley name remained, but from that point on, the chassis and technology were by Rolls-Royce. A number of different firms, including Park Ward and James Young, delivered the bodywork. This coupe-type body was designed by H.J. Mulliner, a company that has a history of building cars and coaches going all the way back to 1760. This car was built using lightweight aluminium. Even today, the quality of the handmade body is easy to see. Bernd says aluminium was the easiest material to process around at that time. It was more pliant, so you didn't need a heavy press and could do a lot of the work by hand. He says this one here is a smaller Mulliner body. Only 140 were made. The S2 used a newly developed Rolls-Royce V8 engine. As is traditional for the company, they've kept quiet about the car's performance statistics, but people in the know say it packs 200 horsepower. The interior is typically British, don't you know? The seats are covered with quality leather, while the dashboard is carved out of root wood. Dials show the driver the engine temperature as well as speed and RPM. The back seats have an intimate feel. The Continental has more legroom in the front. Bernd explains that Bentley and Rolls-Royce were very expensive when they came out, so very few of them have actually disappeared from the market. They've all been repaired. He doesn't think there's another brand out there like Bentley and Rolls where everything that was made is still on the road. That also means the prices haven't changed in the way they do for most vintage cars. They're fairly stable. And if you're looking for a right-hand drive model, you can get a good one for a reasonable price. Bentleys are usually reliable when they're kept in good condition. The 6.2-litre V8 engine is a bit outdated, but aside from that, it's solid through and through. The low capacity means the mechanism keeps well. Spare parts come at a cost, but the most important replacements are usually available almost immediately. Prices for the Continental model have gone up in recent years. A rare aluminium body version, like this one made by Mulliner, can go for up to €250,000. Even today, the Bentley Continental S2 Flying Spur remains a car for drivers. with real style.